What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about Silent Hill yet again. I want to talk about a rumor, which talks about when Silent Hill 1 could have gone in development. So that's like, that's either a fact or not a fact, right? Then there's like some speculation from Dusk Golem, right? That is pretty clearly indicated that it's a guess. You can believe him, you cannot. I know he goes back and forth in like the public mindset of does he know what he's talking about on any given day. I personally believe with Resident Evil and Silent Hill, he's pretty okay. But you can have your opinion on him, agree, disagree, whatever. I think it's still a little bit of fun. So he says Silent Hill 1 Remake, as far as I know, started development around 3 years ago, roughly. If I had to take a guess at the Silent Hill game release schedule, all subject to change at the whims of game dev, how this whole OG plan was delayed by a couple years, plus F and Townfall switched, but places as an example, and honestly good on Konami not just rushing them out and giving them time to cook. So here's what he thinks. 2025, Silent Hill F, obviously. 2026 is Townfall. 2027 is the remake of 1, and then 2028 is an internal Silent Hill game. And you have people pushing back, saying, think about the mindset of Silent Hill 2 remake going into it, and like, would they have been allowed to do more than just that at the same time? And you also think, like, 3 years ago, I mean, at some point, they were working on that, I think, Layers of Fear, right? The compilation type thing. They were doing that. They were doing Silent Hill 2 Remake. They were doing maybe even the Medium crossed over with that at some point. They were doing Chronos, and they were also doing Silent Hill 1. Some of these games cross over, so it's like at certain points, they could quite literally, I mean, I counted 5, but quite literally, they could have been working on maybe anywhere between 2 and 4 at the same time. Probably 2 is low. It's probably 3, 4, 5 games at the same time. Now, they got like 300 people on staff, so, if you break yourself up into like 50 to 70 person teams, you actually could do quite and here's the thing, and as people are actually pointing out, so there's a lot of skepticism to it, which I get, but also as people are pointing out, I think on the Reddit side of things, is like, these are the studios that sometimes just are pretty capable of doing things like this. Don't we kind of want like, I get it. All right, you could say, is it possible for a studio to work on 3 to 5 things at one time? And most people would answer no, but why do we answer no? It's actually because AAA is just completely incapable of doing something like that, right? Studios have, even back in the day when Naughty Dog, that was probably one of the most publicized things, right? They were capable of having like a Last of Us and Uncharted kind of thing going on for a little. But ultimately, as time went on, it reverted back to just a one-game studio, and maybe it comes and goes, right? You had like Lost Legacy, and they're probably working on 2 or 3 things right now. So it goes back and forth. But for the most part, AAA studios aren't really capable of doing more than one thing at a time. And you could argue, like, is that okay, not okay? I mean, I personally want to live in a world with as many good games as possible. So if they're capable of, or if they're able to figure out how to make more than one game at a time, I am all for backing that idea because that's what I want, right? So that's really the main crux of the argument against his rumor as well. And I get the Silent Hill thing as well, because it's like, okay, well, Silent Hill 2, wasn't that like their test run thing? So then at some point, Konami felt good enough where they gave them Silent Hill 1. But it's either a thing like you believe it or you don't believe it. Like, if Silent Hill 1 just started, which he flat out says in other tweets to people that are coming at him, he flat out says, like, Silent Hill 1 did not just start. Now, honestly, when they made that announcement, I assumed it just started. That was my own personal interpretation of it. I would love to believe that it did not just start, because if it did just start, you're looking at 3+ years. I would say 3 is a low end instead of like 4, 5, 6, because that's more of the average. But like, you already did Silent Hill 2 Remake. You could use a lot of those assets in Silent Hill 1. And I think that's a way of backing him up a little bit when he thinks that it could come out in 2027. If it's been in the works for 3 years, if they can just use a lot of the stuff they did with Silent Hill 2, could it come out in 2 years from now? Yeah, it absolutely could. So, I'd like to believe it. The year thing is just speculation. I mean, I think the team that's making Townfall just changed its name yesterday, so they're very good at doing things like that. They're capable of changing their name. We just need the game to come out. So, hopefully we get I would like a Silent Hill game yearly. That would be pretty cool. And to be honest, bringing back or wanting to bring back the franchise, if you could have a run, not just what he said, because, he's leaving out, obviously, like the past. He's leaving out Silent Hill 2 Remake. So if you could do, I mean, right now, we could have back-to-back. 2 Remake was, in my opinion, extremely good. And if you can do Silent Hill F and you nail it, you just did a remake, and not the same studio, not Bloober Team, but as Silent Hill as a brand, you just brought the franchise back in a remake form and did it well, and then you just made a brand new entry and did that well. So now you nailed it. Now you do a Townfall. Now that's more of like an indie, different kind of take on it. Okay, if you nail that, then you do another remake, right? Then you make another standalone game. So you can have a really good run here on Silent Hill if you're careful. And that's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the best for this franchise. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.